Good morning, good evening, good night, good whatever time it is where you guys are. For me, 7:19 in the morning. Today I'm going to be going through this clip I pulled off stream. I have the full game uploaded here, and I'm going to sit here and go through the whole game. But then I'll cut it up and post. So obviously the video you guys are watching is way shorter than 14 minutes. It's an ideal solo versus trio game, and I think I really talk through what I'm thinking a lot, and I think it's really interesting, and I think it would be good just for some people to watch and learn a couple things about how I like to play solo versus trios. So hopefully you guys learned something. So we'll go ahead and get into that, but first, just wanted to plug my Twitch real quick. There'll be a link for this in the description below. Please head over there, give me a follow, and then when I'm live, pop in and say hi. I'd really appreciate it. A couple minutes in here, we're just at the first POI. I'm about to get my first clue. I say something pretty interesting. I think this is a good learning point because this is something I didn't know right away. So I'm gonna roll the stream and I'll talk about it after.
We'll go to church next if we can bang a double. Probably not though. It's probably gonna get taken out after the first one, but
okay, so I got my first clue, looked at the map, and when I first started playing Hunt, it wasn't immediately obvious to me that some POIs had 2 clues, and it was actually like predictable which ones have 2 clues. So there's a Hunt Showdown meta sheet. It's a Google Docs sheet made by these two guys. I can link it. But here's the maps, and like, you know, YouTubers post the spawns, but I don't always see them have the yellow font, and that represents all the POIs that can have 2 clues. So basically, if you go to church or wherever you end up going, if you go to one of these POIs that has yellow text, there's a chance that it spawns with 2 clues, and if you get the first clue and the map doesn't gray out that POI, you can get the second clue. Right, so if you spawn at one of these places right next to it, it makes more sense to go there because you can get 2 clues at once instead of 1 clue. In this case, I said it'll probably get taken out. So just because of how the map was going, I predicted that when I get a clue here, it'll gray out church, and I won't be able to get the second clue. And that actually does end up happening. I don't know how reliable that is. I just kind of based it off like, usually it seems like the map likes to, like in this case, it took out most of the bottom, and most of the time it feels like it likes to take out like the net. It likes to continue that trend of like pushing players up from the bottom. It like doesn't like take out these 3 POIs next. It usually take out Stillwater, Church, and Crematorium. So that's kind of why I predicted that it probably won't happen in this case where I get 2 clues.
let's go Lock Bay. Keeps us a little more central, because then we can go Alice or Stillwater. Well, Stillwater, I guess. Yeah, whatever. We're kind of closer to Lock Bay now, so it doesn't really matter. Lock Bay keeps us more in the middle, but Lock Bay will be way hotter. So actually, Lock Bay is probably a misplay, to be honest. I'm thinking about it. I guess it depends. Depends on what you want. If you want PvP, Lock Bay's the play. If you want to find the assassin without getting dumped on by a trio, then Stillwater's the play there. Trio.
So I said a lot of things there. A lot of them are interesting. There's a lot of different things to consider, and it's going to depend on how you want to play. Like I said, basically how you think about this is Lock Bay is the closest POI to all of these POIs. So anybody who spawned along this border, right? So over half the map, anybody who spawns on these borders, they go to these POIs, and Lock Bay's right in the middle. So anybody Blanchette's coming here, Darrow might come here, probably not, but they could. Crematorium will come here. Church, like me, I'll go there. So it's just like there's a lot of people, a lot of potential for fights to go down at Lock Bay. So if you want a hot game, if you want PvP, Lock Bay makes sense. If you want to find clues and try and find the assassin and like lock down the lair or start camping the lair, Stillwater makes more sense, right?
We'll see though. My rank's like pretty low. And I'm stimmed up and I'm moving pretty good. So
Yeah, so I'm still mumbling on about my predictions and whatnot, but I do make another good point there, that I'm stemmed up and I'm moving pretty good. So that's another thing you can kind of start to do, is predict how fast, or base how fast you feel like you're going, and kind of predict how fast other people will be going. I'm running double stim shot, and not everybody does that, and I've been moving pretty good in this game. So I kind of predict that I'm going to be more ahead or more central, to the middle of the map than a lot of other teams. So you can kind of just keep that in the back of your head, base like try and think of where other teams are going to be or where you think they will be, and it kind of helps. Sometimes it can get you killed though if you like get too confident in your predictions, but most of the time it just helps, right?
team close left. Oh, not that close. Never mind. Unless that's a different team. I actually don't like the way I'm going. I'm gonna wrap around the back because if I get like lost in the sauce with like these 18 teams,
About 18 teams.
hey, oh, shovel usage for.
So there's a couple of interesting points there. First of all, I want to talk about how important sound is in this game, because these birds that I heard are so far from me, and I heard them and I thought they were close left, right? So that just goes to show how important sound is in this game. So like get a good headset and like crank the volume up. Okay, like don't hurt your ears from bullets and stuff, but like that's how important sound is that's how far I'm able to hear. Like those birds are far. Okay. And the second interesting thing here, I'll try and pause it when we get to the map just so you guys can kind of get a feel for what's going on here. I got all 3 clues. They started banishing. This is where I am. I just came from Lock Bay, right? I was just W keying, right? So I picked up my 3rd clue, Lock Bay, started heading over, and like they started banishing around here. So we know there's like a team of 3 up at Scupper. Coming in, I've got a pretty garbage angle. There's this big old lake here. Has Puerto Rico in it, but there's a big old lake. And I decide to go around the back. And what I mean by that is I'm going to dip down here, take this bridge, come all the way up, and take like this land path the whole way, even though it's like I'm obviously going the opposite direction, or not the opposite direction, but not towards Scupper for a while. And then I'm like taking a really indirect path, right? It's because I don't want to go across this big lake. I talk about it some more, but I think I can be more concise than me on stream. So I'm taking this indirect path. A, it lets me stay on land, which I like more. So I have way more cover than like running across like these little islands that are out here. B, anybody, like the whole entire map, this POI is in a corner, right? So like this whole side and this whole side in theory have no players, because nobody's up here. Nobody's up here coming in this direction. Everybody's rotating in like straight this way, straight up, or straight up or straight on this diagonal that I'm on. As a solo player, I don't want to be just W keying in and be in the middle, right? Anybody from Puerto Rico, anybody who's here and decides to take the land path up, anybody who's chapel coming up, I'm just going to get pinched super hard, plus the guys who are in the lair, right? So these guys would attack me from left, these guys attack me from right. The guys, like, it would just be bad as a solo player, and I don't want to be in that situation. So I decided to take this really long path so that I can get a better fight for me. So yeah, like major points there is, even like just don't WQ right there. Think about where you're going. Think about what's going to give you the best fight. In this situation, like, let's see how far they are. That's 22% on the banish. So I have lots of time to, like, I'm not that far from Scupper. I have tons of time to rotate in. Maybe if I was out here or whatever, then you just W key in because you don't want them to exfil before you can get there. But yeah, like I have tons of time, so no big deal going through there. The other good part about rotating this way is that their closest exfil's there. Yeah, like they can go there, but their closest exfil's there. So you just kind of plan off that.
They're gonna get bounties before I can do anything about it, but that was kind of a given anyways, to be honest. My frames are a little poo-poo. Yeah, they're insta picking up. Where's their extract? Over by me. I'm gonna run over this way quick. I just don't want to like get caught out in the open and have like 3 guys with 2 bounties shooting at me.
So this is a good point. They're in the lair. I said they're gonna they're gonna be able to pick up the bounties before I can get into the compound, and I'm just out there standing in the open in the swamp, right? So like here, like I've got like some cover. That's the boss lair right there. I've got some cover, like not really though, right? Especially against 3 guys with bounties, I'm gonna get shredded. What's the first thing you do when you pick up a bounty and you haven't seen anybody all game? You think they're probably lurking, right? So one of the 2 people picks up the bounty, scans around, right? I'm totally within bounty radius, like dark sight. So I decide to do a 180 and get back into the trees behind me, and I expect they're probably gonna come for a fight, but I don't know that. But yeah, like I just go to get some cover because right now they're gonna scan. They're gonna say, "Hey, there's a dude out in the swamp in this direction," and all 3 of them are gonna peek me, and like I'd get fried, right? So I do a 180 and I get some cover.
We'll see. They might come over here. If not, I don't know. That's a dude's head right there. That's a headshot. Let's go.
Okay, so in this situation, I bet what happened was they picked up the bounty. Somebody saw me in dark sight, and either the guy who peeked me or like one of his teammates called me out, right? So this guy scans, sees me, peeks me. And that's kind of what I was predicting. And that's why I moved out of the swamp, because I didn't want to get clapped out in the swamp. So what I predicted I would get fucked up by, it probably would have happened. So me falling back was a really good play. I get a headshot there.
This is really not a good push. I hate scupper, bro. Like usually I'd be able to like follow up there, but because it's scupper, like if I don't know, maybe I'm playing too passive, but
so you can see I'm frustrated. Usually you get an opening pick like that, I'm good to go. I can kind of play in the compound in a 2v1 situation. It won't be that bad. But pushing across that swamp and scupper is gonna be a big deal. There's gonna be water. Like I'm gonna be making a lot of noise. Like there's like no way I get across this swamp without getting shot. You can see I'm frustrated about it, and I'm really struggling with whether I should push across or not. Ultimately, I decided to post up again, which again I think is the proper play here in scupper, because that's a really tough push across the swamp. Like, yeah, maybe if you're better at aiming than I am, you can do it, but there's no way I get across that swamp without dying.
I just think if I push across there, I die there. Okay, she's down to like no health because they just revived her for no fucking reason.
Yeah, so for context there, I knocked her in the window earlier, and then they just picked her up. I don't know if it was a necro pickup or like they actually revived her, but they revived her, and I just saw her standing up in the window again. I shot her in the face a second time, and I'm saying she has no health because you lose the health bars.
So that's actually the play then. I do see like an arm or something. That's another headshot.
So I just shot her teammate in the head through the same window. So now I know I have 2 knocked in there, and I decided to push in because now I know, like, if I'm pushing across the swamp out in the open making a bunch of noise, any fight I take is going to be a 1v1 in theory, assuming no other team comes in and third parties, but it should be a 1v1.
It's 2 knocked? Okay. We can go across now. Get the upper or the conversion ready. It's still a garbage fight for me, but like marginally less so. Okay, now it's a really garbage fight for me. I'm stupid. They can probably both get res now too, like, cause I entered like that.
Yeah, so if you're playing solo versus trios, I don't recommend getting messed up by a water devil like that while you're trying to push the lair. And yeah, I said like they could probably get rezzed. And I'm just using dark sight, making sure the bounties aren't moving around, because if they both got res and they wanted to run the opposite direction, you'd see the lightning moving, right? So it's just like keeping track of where they are. And at this point, I don't know if I'm in a 1v3 or still a 1v1 from the having the 2 guys knocked. So we keep pushing.
Yeah, there's not really an angle there. They're still in there. 2 are knocked. I don't... Unless it's a team of 2. And both the bounties are just sitting there. But like... Yo, chill. Chill. Holy fuck. I don't want the stands, bro.
So 2 points to make on that one. Got in the fight. First thing I did, I'm like out in the open and he starts firing at me, right? He starts blasting. First thing I do is get cover behind the only thing I had, which was these stairs, and I pull out a vit shot and try to hit it like I just fat fingered it, I guess, and pulled out a vit shot. But anyways, I end up getting the kill. And then another good point that I don't see people doing enough is before they run into the boss lair, checking the floor. Right, like a concertina trap there really sucks. It won't kill me. I mean, it could if these two guys were up, which ultimately they're not. They're still knocked. So the third person never came and picked them up. But if there's a concertina trap there and I run into it, like I'm probably dead if they're up, anyways. So yeah, check the floor. Okay, so like ultimately there, I just end up leaving. I scanned around after I picked up the bounty. I didn't see anybody. I just decided to start heading for exfil because if nobody's like directly in the area, it's not really worth my time to go try and find people and take like a bad fight. So I just take the bounty, take the win, and get out of there. Yeah, I just want to give a quick disclaimer at the end here because I do only have 111 hours on this game. And there's people with like way more experience than me, obviously like thousands and thousands of hours. So there's still like lots I have to learn. So don't take anything I've said like to the grave because just take what I've said, consider it. If you think any of it was valuable, then like consider it during your games. But obviously like I'm relatively inexperienced in the realm of like hunt playtime. So yeah, just like consider the things I've said. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. See you later.